What happens when a Hollywood icon, renowned for her bold persona and unapologetic authenticity, steps into the ring with a morning show host known for his biting skepticism? Pamela Anderson thought she was joining Good Morning America to promote her latest role in the Naked Gun reboot, a comedic turn that had fans buzzing. But what erupted was a scorching confrontation that left the audience stunned, producers in a panic, and social media exploding with reactions. This wasn't just a promotional segment gone wrong. It was a fiery showdown over authenticity, faith, and the price of fame that turned a routine interview into a cultural firestorm. Subscribe and drop a comment below, because this battle builds to a climax that will keep you hooked, and you won't believe how it ends. Pamela Anderson walked onto the Good Morning America set, greeted by enthusiastic applause, ready to discuss her comedic role in Naked Gun and her journey from modeling to acting. But George Stephanopoulos quickly pivoted the conversation into a heated debate about her public persona, spirituality, and the relevance of her past in today's Hollywood. George Stephanopoulos started, "Welcome back to Good Morning America. We've got Pamela Anderson with us, star of the Naked Gun reboot. But Pamela, let's be honest, isn't your comeback just riding on nostalgia for your Baywatch days?" Pamela responded, "Thanks for having me, George. I'm not here for nostalgia. I'm here to show people I've got more to offer. Naked Gun is about having fun and proving I can still surprise folks." George pressed, "Surprise, sure, but your career's been built on, let's say, a certain image. Do you really think playing a funny cop in 2025 makes you a serious actor?" Pamela countered, "I think it shows I don't take myself too seriously, George. I've always been about authenticity. Whether modeling or acting, why does that seem to bother you?" The audience murmured, sensing the shift, as George pushed back. "Authenticity, that's a big word. But isn't your whole vibe just a throwback to the 90s, banking on sex appeal rather than substance?" Pamela's voice stayed calm. "Substance isn't about what you think I am, George. It's about what I bring to the table. My work in Naked Gun is about joy, not just looks. Have you even seen it? Or are you stuck on old magazine covers?" George smirked. "I've seen enough to know it's a far cry from Oscar material. And let's talk about this spiritual side you've been pushing lately. Are you trying to rebrand as some kind of guru now?" Pamela replied, "I'm not rebranding. I'm living my truth. My faith guides me. It's not about preaching. It's about finding peace. Why does that make you so skeptical?" The audience chuckled softly, but George leaned in. "Peace is great, but come on, Pamela. You're selling spirituality to the same crowd that bought your pinup posters. Isn't that just another marketing ploy?" Pamela's tone sharpened. "Marketing ploy, that's rich, George. I've spent years being judged for my image, but my faith is real. It's what keeps me grounded. Why do you feel the need to mock that?" George shot back, "I'm not mocking, I'm questioning. Your career's been about being a fantasy. Now you're talking about soul-searching. Do you expect people to take that seriously?" Pamela countered, "I expect people to respect my journey, just like I respect theirs. My work in Naked Gun and my advocacy come from the same place, heart. Why can't you see that?" The audience stirred as George pressed, "Heart's one thing. But let's be real. Your spiritual talk sounds like a way to dodge the fact that your modeling days defined you. Are you saying you're above that now?" Pamela fired back, "I'm not above anything, George. I'm proud of my past, modeling, acting. It's all part of me. But I'm more than a poster. My faith helps me stand tall. Why does that threaten you?" George scoffed. "Threaten? Hardly. But I wonder if this whole faith thing is just a way to stay relevant. I mean, isn't The Chosen more your speed than Naked Gun?" Pamela's voice grew firmer. "Relevance isn't my goal, George. Connection is. My faith drives me to create, to inspire, to laugh. Why do you keep trying to box me in?" The audience clapped lightly as George pushed harder. "Box you in? I'm just asking questions, Pamela. Isn't it convenient to lean on spirituality when your career's been about, well, less holy pursuits?" Pamela responded, "Convenient? No, it's honest, George. I've faced judgment my whole career, but I've never hidden who I am. My faith, my work, it's all real. Why do you insist on tearing that down? George's tone turned sharp. Tearing down? I'm doing my job, Pamela. People want to know if this new you is legit or just another role, like your Baywatch swimsuit days. Pamela shot back. My job is to tell stories, George, not to fit your narrative. Naked Gun is me having fun. My faith is me being real. Why can't you handle both? The audience gasped, the tension spiking, as George replied, handle it, I can. But let's not pretend your spiritual awakening is going to change how the world sees you, Pamela. You're still the pin-up girl, right? Pamela Anderson stood her ground on the Good Morning America set, her words cutting through the charged atmosphere as she faced George Stephanopoulos, who leaned into his attack, determined to undermine her authenticity. The audience held their breath, caught in the escalating clash, as the interview spiraled into a fiery debate over faith, fame, and the courage to evolve, with Pamela refusing to let George's cynicism define her. Subscribe and share your thoughts below, because this showdown is about to explode, and the stakes couldn't be higher. George fired back. You say it's real, Pamela, but let's be honest. This faith thing feels like a publicity stunt. You're telling me the Baywatch star is now all about spirituality. How's that not just a new costume for the cameras? Pamela shot back. A costume, George. I've been open about my journey for years. My faith isn't a stunt. It's what keeps me centered. Why do you keep trying to twist that into something fake? George smirked. I'm not twisting anything. I'm asking what viewers are thinking. You built a career on being a sex symbol. Now you're preaching inner peace. Why should anyone buy that switch? Pamela countered. I'm not asking anyone to buy anything. I'm living my truth. Naked Gun shows I can laugh at myself. My faith shows I know who I am. Why does that make you so uncomfortable? George pressed harder. Uncomfortable? No, I just think it's convenient. You're leaning into this spiritual angle when your modeling days are behind you. Isn't that just a way to stay in the spotlight? Pamela's voice sharpened. Stay in the spotlight, George. I've never chased fame. I've earned my place. From magazine covers to movie sets. And my faith is what's guided me through it all. Why can't you respect that? George replied, Respect's earned, Pamela. And I'm not sure preaching on morning TV is the way to do it. Your fans loved you for Baywatch, not Bible verses. Are you saying that was all a mistake? Pamela fired back. A mistake? No, it was part of my journey. I'm proud of every step. But I'm not stuck in 1995. My faith helps me grow. Why do you want to keep me in a box? The audience clapped, emboldened by Pamela's defiance. As George pushed further, a box? I'm just saying your spiritual talk feels like a rebrand. Like you're trying to erase the Pamela Anderson everyone knows. Isn't that a bit dishonest? Pamela countered. Dishonest, George. What's dishonest is you acting like my past and my faith can't coexist. I've always been real, whether in a swimsuit or a comedy role. Why do you need to tear that down? George scoffed. Tear down? I'm asking tough questions. That's my job. You can't just hide behind faith when people question your credibility. Do you think Naked Gun makes you a serious artist now? Pamela replied, I think it shows I'm versatile. George, I can make people laugh, cry, think. My faith gives me the strength to try. Why does that scare you so much? George's tone grew sharper. Scare me, please. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Your career's been about image, not depth. Now you're talking about soul-searching. Isn't that just a way to dodge accountability for your past? Pamela shot back. Accountability? I've never dodged anything. I've owned every choice. From modeling to acting to speaking my truth. My faith is my anchor, not a dodge. Why can't you see the difference? George pressed. The difference, Pamela, is that your fans know you as a pinup, not a preacher. You're trying to sell this new version of yourself. But is it really you, or just another role? Pamela's voice rose. Another role, George. My faith isn't a performance. It's who I am. Naked Gun is me having fun. My advocacy is me giving back. Why do you keep attacking that? George leaned in. Attacking, I'm just doing my job, Pamela. People want to know if this spiritual side is legit, or if it's just a way to keep your name in headlines. You can't blame me for asking. Pamela countered. I don't blame you for asking. I blame you for mocking. You're not interested in my truth. You're interested in a soundbite. Why don't you ask about my work instead of my worth? The audience cheered as George pushed back. Your work, sure. Let's talk Naked Gun. It's a comedy. Not exactly a platform for your spiritual revolution, is it? Or are you saying there's a sermon in there too? Pamela replied, There's heart in there, George. Just like in everything I do. My faith informs my choices, not your narrative. Why do you keep trying to make me small? George scoffed. Make you small, Pamela. I'm giving you a chance to explain yourself. But it sounds like you're dodging the real question. Is this faith thing just a way to clean up your image after years of, let's say, less wholesome roles? Pamela's voice turned fierce. Clean up my image, George. I don't need to clean anything. I've always been honest. My faith is my strength, not a PR move. Why do you insist on belittling that? George shot back. Belittling. I'm just saying what people think. You can't go from Playboy to preaching without raising eyebrows. Do you really think your fans buy this transformation? Pamela countered. My fans know me, George. They see my heart, whether in Naked Gun or my activism. My faith ties it all together. Why can't you accept that? The exchange reached a boiling point as George pushed one last time. Accept it, Pamela. I'm just asking if this is real. Or if you're just playing a new part to stay relevant. Isn't that a fair question? Pamela fired back. Fair no, it's lazy, George. You're not asking. You're judging my faith, my career, my life. It's all real. Why do you keep trying to tear it apart? The audience roared as Pamela stood firm, refusing to back down, setting the stage for a showdown that was far from over. George Stephanopoulos' voice echoed across the Good Morning America set, his mocking tone pushing Pamela Anderson to the edge, but she stood resolute, her words sharp and unyielding, ready to turn the tables in a clash that had already captivated millions. The audience leaned forward, hanging on every syllable, as the battle over faith, authenticity, and legacy reached its climax, with Pamela refusing to let George's cynicism overshadow her truth. Subscribe and share your thoughts below, because this showdown's final moments will leave you stunned, delivering a conclusion that's as powerful as it is unforgettable. George pressed harder. You keep talking about truth, Pamela, but let's be real. Your faith sounds like a convenient way to rewrite your story. Isn't it just a shield to dodge the fact that your career was built on being a fantasy? Pamela fired back. A shield, George. My faith is my strength, not a dodge. I've owned every part of my career, from Baywatch to Naked Gun, and my spirituality ties it all together. Why do you keep trying to tear that apart? George scoffed. I'm not tearing anything. I'm asking what people want to know. You went from Playboy to preaching. How's that not a publicity stunt to stay relevant? Pamela's voice rose. Relevant, George. I don't need stunts to stay in the game. My faith is real. It's what drives me to create, to connect, to laugh in Naked Gun. Why can't you see beyond your own biases? The audience cheered, emboldened by Pamela's defiance, as George shot back. Biases, Pamela. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Your fans know you as a sex symbol, not a spiritual leader. Are you saying they're wrong to see you that way? Pamela countered. They're not wrong. They're part of my journey. I've never hidden who I am. Modeling, acting, advocating. It's all me. My faith gives me the courage to embrace it all. Why do you insist on mocking that? George leaned in. Mocking. I'm doing my job, asking tough questions. You can't just wave a spiritual flag and expect people to forget your past. Do you really think Naked Gun changes how the world sees you? Pamela replied, I think it shows I'm more than your stereotypes, George. I can make people laugh, inspire them, live my faith. Why does that threaten you so much? George's tone grew sharper. Threaten, please. I'm just saying your spiritual awakening feels like a rebrand. Like you're trying to erase the Pamela Anderson of the 90s. Isn't that a bit dishonest? Pamela's voice turned fierce. Dishonest, George. What's dishonest is you pretending my faith and my career can't coexist. I've always been real, whether on a magazine cover or a movie set. Why do you need to belittle that? George pushed back. Belittle? I'm giving you a chance to explain. But it sounds like you're dodging the real issue. Your past defined you. Are you saying you're above it now? Pamela countered. I'm not above anything. I'm proud of every step. My faith helps me stand tall, not run away. Why can't you respect that? The exchange intensified as George pressed, Respect, Pamela. You're asking for respect while leaning on a spiritual narrative that feels like a pivot. Isn't Naked Gun just a way to distract from the fact that your glory days were about image, not depth? Pamela shot back. Distract, George. My glory days are every day I get to create, to grow, to live my truth. My faith fuels that, not your narrative. Why do you keep trying to box me in? George replied, Box you in? I'm just saying what people think. You can't go from pin-up to preacher without raising questions. Do you expect us to just buy this transformation? Pamela's voice rang out. Buy it, no. I expect you to listen. My fans see my heart. Whether in Naked Gun or my activism, my faith ties it all together. Why do you keep attacking it? George scoffed. Attacking? I'm asking questions, Pamela. That's journalism. You're selling this new you. But is it real, or just another role to keep your name in lights? Pamela countered. Journalism, George. You're not seeking truth. You're chasing drama. My faith is my anchor, not a role. Naked Gun is me having fun. My advocacy is me giving back. Why can't you handle both? The audience roared as George pushed further. Handle it I can, but let's be clear. Your spiritual talk sounds like a way to clean up your image after years of, let's say, less wholesome roles. Isn't that the real story? Pamela's voice was fierce. The real story, George, is I've never hidden who I am. My faith gives me strength to face judgment like yours. Why do you insist on making it a fight? George leaned forward. A fight, Pamela. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Your career's been about being a fantasy. Now you're talking soul-searching. Do you really think people take that seriously? Pamela shot back. I know they do, George, because they see my heart. My work in Naked Gun shows I can laugh. My faith shows I can love. Why do you keep trying to make me small? George replied, Make you small, I'm giving you a platform. But it sounds like you're dodging accountability for your past. Isn't that what this faith thing is really about? Pamela's voice thundered. Accountability. I've owned every choice. From modeling to acting to speaking my truth. My faith is my strength, not a dodge. Why can't you see the difference? The clash reached its peak as George made a fatal misstep. Pamela, maybe you should stick to comedy and leave the spiritual talk to people who've lived it, not just played it for the cameras. Pamela fired back. Stick to comedy, George. I've lived my faith every day. Through every judgment, every headline, I'm here being real. While you're just playing skeptic for ratings, why don't you try some honesty for a change? The audience erupted as George shot back. Honesty, Pamela. I'm the one asking real questions. You're the one hiding behind faith to avoid them. Maybe it's time to leave if you can't handle it. Pamela countered. Handle it, I can. But I won't sit here while you mock what's sacred to me. You invited me to talk Naked Gun, not to be your punching bag. Why don't you show some respect? George's voice cracked. Respect, Pamela. This is my show, and I decide what's fair. If you can't take the heat, maybe you should go. Pamela stood firm. Go, George, I leave. Not because you're kicking me out, but because I respect myself too much to let you cheapen my truth. You've shown everyone who you are today. She turned to the audience. I came here to share my work, my heart, my faith. But he wants a fight, not a conversation. You decide who's real. The audience cheered wildly as Pamela walked off, leaving George stunned, his attempt to regain control faltering. We'll be right back after this break. The fallout was immediate. Social media exploding with clips of Pamela's exit. Hashtags trending as fans praised her courage. Pamela Anderson just owned George Stephanopoulos, one viral post declared. News outlets ran headlines. Pamela Shamus GM may host an epic faith clash, with commentators lauding her authenticity, while George's team issued a weak statement about lively debates. Pamela's silence spoke louder, her dignity intact, her faith unshaken. The moment became a cultural touchstone, proving authenticity triumphs over cynicism, as Pamela walked away, not just a star, but a beacon of resilience, leaving George to face the wreckage of his own hubris.
Thank you for watching our channel Modern Stories. If you liked our video, you should subscribe for more amazing videos like this. Have a healthy and happy day. See you in the next one.